Representing the St. Joseph Convent, Kingstown, Kevisha Richardson. Representing the St. Vincent Grammar School, Christian Joseph. Next, we have Soren Phillips of the Thomas Saunders Secondary School. Representing the Mountain View Adventist Academy, Rihanna Ross. We finally have the St. Vincent Girls High School, Janelle Stowe. Thank you, Corporal Powers of the RSVG Police Force, for executing that great fanfare. Kindly stand as we look to the Lord in prayer. The invocation tonight will be done by Pastor Brent St. John.
Good night, everybody. Our heads bowed and our eyes closed. Heavenly Father, the one who asked Moses in Exodus 4 and verse 11, who created mouths so humans could speak? Isn't it I, the Lord? We approach your throne of grace tonight, understanding that you are the one who gave us the gift of speaking. And this evening, Lord, at this Lions Club South National Public Speaking Competition, you have brought young people to showcase their abilities in public speaking. Oh Lord, I pray that you would just intervene and take full charge of tonight's proceedings. Bless our moderator, bless our finalists, bless the judges. We never envy the work of the judges at programs like these. I pray, Lord, that you would help them as they deliberate. I pray that their deliberations would be a blessing to them and to us. And at the end of this night's proceedings, may the best person come out victorious. Bless the waiting audience, those online, and those currently here. I pray, Lord, that we behave ourselves in a manner that would represent you well. And I pray that we'll have a wonderful event tonight. Have thine own way, take full control. And we say, take full charge of tonight's proceedings. In the mighty name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor St. John. Kindly remain standing for the national anthem of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Thank you very much, Mr. Delano Bristol. You may all have your seats. Before we proceed, I would like to acknowledge Her Excellency Governor General Dame Susan Duggan, Senior Education Officer Dr. Godwin James, Marketing Manager of Flow, Mrs. Nicola Williams Rogers, Miss Cornelia Moses, Zone Chairperson of the Lions Club Zone 3C, Miss Janelle George, the President of the Lions Club South, other distinguished Lions and Leos, principals and teachers, judges, the media, listeners and viewers, ladies and gentlemen, fellow students. The next item on our agenda would be the welcoming remarks by the President of the Lions Club St. Vincent South, Lion Janil George.
Madam Chairperson, Her Excellency Governor General Dame Susan Duggan, Parliamentary Representative for East Kingstown, Honorable Fitzgerald Bramble, Senior Education Officer Dr. Godwin James, Marketing Manager of Flow Mrs. Nikayla Williams Rogers, Ms. Cornelia Moses, Zone Chair, Lions Club South, and Lions Club Zone 3C, other distinguished Lions and Leos, principal teachers, judges, the media, listeners, viewers, ladies and gentlemen, fellow students, good evening. On behalf of the Board of Directors and members of the Lions Club of St. Vincent South, it is my distinct pleasure to bring brief remarks and to welcome you to the finals of the Lions Club St. Vincent South Flow St. Vincent National Secondary School Public Speaking Competition, held in conjunction with the Ministry of Education and National Reconciliation. I am humbled to be opening this evening's proceedings, and so I am honored to extend a special welcome to Her Excellency Dame Susan Duggan, Governor General of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the Parliamentary Representative of East Kingstown, the Honorable Fitzgerald Bramble. We are delighted to have in our presence Mrs. Nikayla Williams Rogers, Marketing Manager of Flow, our sponsor. Also, warm welcome to Dr. Godwin James, Senior Education Officer in the Ministry of Education and National Reconciliation. I wish to recognize our Zone Chairperson for Zone 3C, Lion Cornelia Moses, as well as Pastor Brent St. James, Youth and Health Director of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Lion Tonya Brown, President of the Lions Club Kingstown, St. Vincent. Leo Giles Garway, President of the Leo Club St. Vincent. And my fellow Lions and Leos, welcome. I also wish to welcome and to acknowledge the President of the Arima Lions Club, Lion Eric Kipp. MGF, a cordial welcome to you. Warmest greetings to the principals, teachers, finalists, and students. Also, to our esteemed audience present, viewing, listening via all media platforms. We welcome you. We are indeed happy to have you here to lend your support to the students in tonight's proceedings. This year, a total of 18 secondary school students from across 4 zones in St. Vincent and the Grenadines participated in the preliminaries, which took place from the 26th to the 29th of October 2023. As a result, the top 6 students were selected to represent their respective schools in tonight's finals. And so we want to appreciate the hard work, dedication, and support of all the principal, teachers, students, and parents at this time. The overall objective of this competition aims to provide students with a platform to debate on topics or issues that are of a local, regional, and international nature. Moreover, it enables them to speak persuasively, to listen critically and constructively. To a larger extent, their skills in oral communication, speech writing, and research are strengthened. And so, this evening we are pleased to have all 6 finalists present, and we anticipate an interesting evening of educational, lively, and entertaining debate. I wish you all the very best. We are truly grateful for the continued support of the Ministry of Education and Flow St. Vincent as they continue to make it possible for this competition to be successful and to be featured as one of the most anticipated events on the Ministry of Education and the Independence Committee calendar of activities. Before I leave, please permit me to share a little of our club. The Lions Club St. Vincent South is one of 3 Lions Club and 1 Lear Club present here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We are part of a larger global body of Lions Club, that is the Lions Club International, with over 100 years of service in more than 200 countries around the world. Our primary purpose is to serve, and in doing so, impact change and improve the livelihood of the vulnerable and needy in our communities. On October 9th, 2023, our club celebrated 45 years of service. In celebration of this, we honored 5 members for their outstanding contribution and service in the club and in the wider community. These Lions are Lion Junior Bacchus, PMJF, Lion Isaac Solomon, MJF, Lion Michael John, MJF, Lion Cornelia Moses, and Lion Paul McLeish. Lion Paul McLeish was honored as one of the founding members of Lionism in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and so we saluted him for this achievement. This being said, allow me to highlight some of the projects the club engaged in during our Lionistic year. They are, but not limited to, the Farmers Support Project, where farmers are equipped with tools and other equipment to sustain their livelihood. Primary and Secondary School Poultry Project, the annual Primary School Christmas Party, post-Christmas food basket donations, tree planting to commemorate World Earth Day, provision of school supplies, scholarships, bursaries to primary, secondary, and tertiary level students. We also provide financial support towards medical treatments for individuals and families. This year, we will be venturing into a new project with the Ministry of Health and the Environment to recognize World Diabetes Day. On behalf of the members of the Lions Club South, we wish to wholeheartedly thank all the stakeholders who continue to lend their unwavering support towards the fulfillment of these projects. Before I leave, I also wish to extend a special thanks to all the members of the Lions Club South for the professional and smooth execution of this project. Ladies and gentlemen, please sit back and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lion Jan. Next, we have Mrs. Nicola Williams-Rogers, Marketing Manager, Floor St. Vincent, St. Lucia, Grenada and Dominica, to bring her brief remarks.
Madam Chair, thank you. Her Excellency, Governor General, Dame Susan Duggan, Parliamentary Representative for the East Kingstown, Dwight Fitzgerald Bramble, Senior Education Officer, Dr. Godwin James, Miss Cornelia Moses, Zone 3, and all the other distinguished guests and members of the Lions Club South. I greet you, and a pleasant good night to you all. According to most studies, people's number one fear is public speaking. Do you know what number 2 is? Can you guess, students? Can you believe that the number 2 fear for human beings is death? I thought death would be number 1, but death is actually number 2. So this means that the average person, when they're going to a funeral, they would rather be the person in the casket than the person giving the eulogy. Now, when I found this very interesting fact, it brought me back to an experience in school days. We were doing a school project, and everybody's lining up and they're saying, okay, who doing what and who doing what? And there's one person who never volunteers, right? So my schoolmate Sam said, Tasha, you doing the presentation, eh? And Tasha froze as if the worst thing that could ever happen just happened to her. And she said, presentation? Me? to me. Anything at all. Don't make me go up there. So that alone tells me that for some people, really and truly the greatest fear is standing up here in front of that audience and speaking. Ladies and gentlemen, students, I stand here today as a proud representative of the region's #1 telecommunications provider, Flow. I bring you greetings from the country manager, Mr. Wayne Hall. He never misses a public speaking finals, but he could not make it here today. The other team members on the local team, and we're really, really happy to be a part of this competition once again. We are proud to be associated with this long legacy of excellence spanning over 30 years. That's way before most persons in the audience were born. See a lot of young faces. I'm humoring everyone. I am extremely proud of the 6 finalists who made it through the past weeks of rigorous competition. You fought past the nerves. Your self-doubt, the fear of failure, and you emerged as finalists to stand before a large audience despite of those fears. Flo applauds you, your families, teachers, and the Lions Club South for keeping this strong tradition alive despite the many challenges. Rob Brown said, "If you can speak, you can influence. If you can influence, you can change lives." Take this gift of bravery, courage, and intellect and change lives along your journey. Being a leader and a positive influence may not win you the most popular vote, but remember, as President Obama said, the cynics may be the loudest voices, but I promise you, they will accomplish the least. And I say that again. The cynics may be the loudest voices you hear, but I promise you, they will accomplish the least. That's a quote from President Obama. We at Flow take pride in rewarding excellence. All 6 finalists will receive Samsung Galaxy smartphones today equipped with 1 month of free talk and data. In addition to this, yes, you can give us a little round of applause for that. Thank you. And I made sure I asked for Samsung Galaxy smartphones because the youngsters like the brand names. I hope you appreciate. I fought for that, okay? Very good. Yes, and apart from that, in the top 3 positions, we will reward those students with 2-year scholarships towards their tertiary education. That's right. So the first place winner every year for the next 2 years will receive $2,000 towards their college. The second place, $1,000, and the third place, $500. We have also extended a challenge to the winning school. So each year we make sure that it's not just the students' responsibility to do their best, but it's in the best interest of the school to ensure that the students do their best. So we extend a $3,000 reward for a project presented to Flow by the winning school each year. Clap for that now. That will help with some library projects and stuff. And we've been doing that for the last 4 years or so, and it's been really, really helpful. In addition to these awards, we also look out for these students throughout the year. So mentorships and any other programs that we have coming up, we extend them to these students. As we weather these tough economical times together, your continued patronage is integral as we continue to support worthwhile initiatives to fuel education, development, and connectivity throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines. To all finalists, I wish you all the very best. And this is coming from your telecoms provider that keeps you connected to what matters most. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. William Rogers, and we do look forward to continued relations with Flow. I would now like to welcome the representative from the Ministry of Education, the Senior Education Officer, Dr. Godwin James.
Thank you kindly, Madam Chair. Her Excellency Governor General Dame Susan Duggan, Parliamentary Representative for East Kingston, Dwight Fitzgerald Bramble, I almost called my name, Marketing Manager Flow, Mrs. Nicalia Williams Rogers, Miss Cornelia Moses, Zone Chair, Lions Club Zone 3C, Miss Janelle George, President, Lions Club South, other distinguished Lions, principals and teachers, judges, the media, listening and viewing audience, ladies and gentlemen, students, good evening. The Ministry of Education and National Reconciliation is pleased, as always, to be associated with the annual Lions Club St. Vincent South Secondary School's public speaking competition. This competition is one that the citizens of St. Vincent and the Grenadines look forward to with eager anticipation at this time of the year. We at the Ministry of Education and National Reconciliation view partnership with community organizations, both corporate and non-corporate, as critical to the delivery of the curriculum in our 68 primary schools, 27 secondary schools, 5 technical institutes, and our many early childhood center. While the lion's share of financing education in St. Vincent and the Grenadines comes from the public purse, the Ministry of Education will not be able to effectively deliver the curriculum to our students without collaborating with external entities. Therefore, this tripartite relationship that comprises Flow, the Lions Club St. Vincent South, and the Ministry of Education is one example of delivering a component of the school's curriculum through collaborative efforts. This Lions Club St. Vincent South public speaking competition falls squarely within the English language arts curriculum in our secondary school. It forms part of the English A English Language Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate CSEC syllabus administered by the Caribbean Examinations Council. This component exposes participants to 4 of the English language arts in the CSEC syllabus: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Participating students are usually in their 4th and 5th year of secondary schools. The school-based assessment component of the CSEC English A examination requires students to bring together these 4 skills in their project. Students are exposed to research and prepare a project for which they have to make an oral presentation to their classmates. This component gives the participants a competitive edge as they prepare for their CSEC English A examination. It is hoped that students who are listening and who are in the audience will also learn how to present before an audience. Apart from preparation for the CSEC English A examination, students also learn or they get the opportunity to practice the art of elocution, of pronunciation and articulation, which pronunciation and articulation are the key elements. They develop the confidence necessary to deliver a speech before a live audience. This is no easy feat and is not for the faint of heart. We must offer our support to the participants in the various sections of this evening's competition. Students also gain time management skills as they have to balance the demands of their schoolwork as well as preparation for this competition. Additionally, they have to speak within a given time frame. They develop their research skills and learn to synthesize and paraphrase information, and these are critical components of the whole area of critical thinking. Of course, there are many other benefits that students gain from participating in the competition. And while the benefits of student participating in the public speaking competition are many, I believe that the time has come for the Lions Club St. Vincent South to reflect on the format of the public speaking competition. The club should explore debating as an option. In this way, more students will get an opportunity to hone their debating public speaking skills. It is just a thought to be explored as we provide valuable life skills to our students that are fit for purpose. The Ministry of Education and National Reconciliation wishes the 6 participants in tonight's competition the best as they execute the prepared speeches and navigate their way through the impromptu round. All of you have won just by reaching the finals of this competition. On behalf of the Minister of Education, the Honorable Curtis King, the Chief Education Officer, Mrs. K. Martin Jack, and the other staff of the Ministry of Education, I extend profound thanks to the Lions Club St. Vincent South and Flow for each year providing our students with the platform to begin to hone their public speaking skills. We hope this tripartite arrangement continues in the future. We also extend thanks to the principals, teachers, parents and guardians, and everyone involved in preparing the students for tonight's competition. We wish all of you a safe and happy 44th Independence as we begin the journey to 45. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. James. I would now give you the overview of the competition, a couple of tongue twisters here. Each speaker shall deliver 3 speeches, 2 prepared speeches and an impromptu speech. For the main speech, each speaker shall speak for a period not exceeding 10 minutes. For the student's prepared speech, each speaker shall speak for a period not exceeding 5 minutes. For the impromptu speech, each speaker shall have 1 minute to consider the topic and no more than 2 minutes to present his or her topic. Any speaker who utilizes less than 8 minutes of the allocated time for the main prepared speech shall have 5 points deducted from his or her total score. Participants could refer to prepared notes from which they can make their presentation. For the main prepared speech, participants not engaged in delivering their speeches shall be absent from the room at the time the speech is being delivered, unless he or she has already delivered his or her speech. The instructions as follows. For the prepared speech, the first bell would ring when participants take the podium and are ready to present. The second bell would ring at 8 minutes. The third and final bell would ring at 10 minutes. For the student prepared speech, the first bell would ring when the participant takes the podium and is ready to present, the second bell at 4 minutes, and the third bell at 5 minutes. For the impromptu, the first bell would ring when participants take the podium after selecting his or her topic, the second bell at the end of 1 minute by which the participants would begin. Third and final bell would ring at the 3rd minute. We have a breakdown for the main topics, the prepared and the impromptu. The breakdown is as follows: material, manner, language, and voice. In the main topic area, we have 20 points for material, 10 for manner, 10 for language, and 10 for voice, which would give us a total of 50 points. For the student prepared topic, 15 for material, 5 for manner, 5 for language, 5 for voice, gives us a total of 30 points. Whilst for the impromptu speech, 5 for material, 5 for manner, 5 for language, 5 for voice, which gives us a total of 20 points. Our timekeepers for tonight are Lion Simona Moses and Lion Kamitha John. Now I am going to introduce to you our judges for tonight. John A. Balla. John Alvin Balla is the son of Moses Balla and Gloria King. During his formative years, Mr. Balla attended the Bishop's College Kingstown and then the St. Vincent Technical College, where he studied mechanical technology. He later enlisted in the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force and served for 20 years, attaining to the rank of Assistant Superintendent prior to his departure. During his time at the RSVG Police Force, he obtained a Bachelor's of Law degree with honors from the University of the West Indies, Cave Hill in Barbados. He then attended the Hugh Wooden Law School in Trinidad and Tobago, where he graduated with Legal Education Certificate. He was admitted to the practice as a barrister and solicitor in the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court in St. Vincent and the Grenadines Circuit on October 10, 2016. Mr. Ballard is now serving as a district manager in our blessed island, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Judge number 1, John A. Ballard. Ronnie Daniel. Ronnie Daniel is a program officer assigned to the Student Experience Unit at the University of the West Indies Global Campus, Office of the Principal. He is a former Secretary-Treasurer of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Christian Council. Prior to joining the staff at the Global Campus, he worked with the Methodist Church Kingstown Chateaubriand Circuit as its Christian Education Director for 10 years. Mr. Daniel holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in Theology from the University of the West Indies Mona campus and a Master's in Philosophy in International Peace Studies from Trinity College, Dublin. Mr. Daniel has a keen interest in social justice matters and issues related to the development of small island states. Judge number 2, Ronnie Daniel. Theresa Daniel. Ms. Theresa Daniel holds a Bachelor in Mass Communication and Diploma in Mass Communication from the University of the West Indies. Added to that, Ms. Daniel also holds a Master's in Social and Public Communication from the London School of Economics and Political Science. She has worked in all sectors of the media as well as in a variety of media communication environments, both locally and abroad. Ms. Daniel is currently the host of VC3's flagship program, Round Table Talk. She also serves as the current chairperson of the Board of Directors of the National Broadcasting Corporation. Judge number 3, Theresa Daniel. Judge number 4, Ms. Trishelle Allen. Ms. Trishelle Allen is employed at Surgical Life Incorporated and has been an advisor for the past 6 years. She is a graduate of the University of the West Indies Cave Hill campus and holds a bachelor's in banking and finance. Her knowledge and experience in finance has ignited a passion for compliance, which led her to further studies in the area. Currently, she is pursuing studies with LOMA, Life Office Management Association. Ms. Allen also serves as the director on the board of the St. Vincent Building and Loan Association and is a member of the Lions Club Kingstown, St. Vincent. In her spare time, she enjoys reading, cooking, and spending time with family and friends. Judge number 4, Ms. Trishelle Allen. Judge number 5, Mrs. Kizzy Francis, is a practicing attorney at law for over 13 years with extensive expertise in taxation law, legislative drafting, public sector leadership, strategic management, and negotiation skills. Mrs. Francis is passionate about service to the nation through her involvement with charitable organizations such as the World Pediatric Project and is a trustee of the board of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines National Trust. A fashion-forward wife and a mother of 2, Mrs. Francis enjoys reading, fitness, and pursuing a healthy lifestyle. Along with her husband, she manages a family business in property rentals and the production of beverages, in keeping with her mantra to doing all things with excellence while cultivating positive relationships and inspiring others through her work, personal life, and service to country. Judge number 5, Kizzy Francis. We also have Lions Suzette May and the auditors of BDO, who will be working along with the judges tonight so that we get the results as speedily as possible. Okay, we have now come to the part of the competition that we all have been waiting for. Tonight's topic: unless criminals' proximity to power is reduced, their ill-gotten gains confiscated, and a culture of lawlessness fostered, the level of crime will remain at unacceptable levels. Once again, unless criminals' proximity to power is reduced, their ill-gotten ills,
their ill-gotten gains confiscated and a culture of lawlessness fostered. Let me take that a little slower. So for tonight's topic, unless criminals' proximity to power is reduced, their ill-gotten gains confiscated, and a culture of lawfulness fostered, the level of crime will remain at unacceptable levels. So without further delay, let's get this competition started. At this point, I will ask Lion Matika Glasgow to escort the participants out of hearing range, except for Ms. Robertson of the Adelphi Secondary School, who will be our first competitor. Thank you very much, Lion Matika. We would now have, oh yes, I will make my correction, District Magistrate John Ballard. We would now have our first competitor from the Adelphi Secondary School, Lisa Robertson.
Wait for the bell.
Madam Chairperson, Her Excellence Governor General Dame Suzanne Duggan, Parliamentary Representative for East Kingston Dwight Fitzgerald Bramble, Senior Education Officer Dr. Godwin James, Marketing Manager of Flow Ms. Nikila Williams Rogers, Ms. Cornelia Moses, Zone Chair Lions Club Zone 3C, Ms. Janelle George, President Lions Club and Leos, principals, teachers, judges, the media, listeners and viewers, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow students, good evening. Have you ever felt the chilling fear of crime lurking just around the corner of your neighborhood? According to news reports, 4 men were shot and killed in Kingston on Wednesday, July 19, 2023, bringing the homicide count in the country at that time to 34. Following a record 42 in 2022, presently we are at 43. Mr. Chairman, judges, ladies and gentlemen, the topic which I present to you tonight is, unless criminals' proximity to power is reduced, their ill-gotten gains confiscated, and a culture of lawfulness fostered, the level of crime will remain at unacceptable levels. In order to stop the glorification of criminals, their lifestyle and criminal activities, it is important that criminals' proximity to power be reduced, their ill-gotten gains be confiscated, and lawfulness be fostered. In other words, Mr. Chairman, I wholeheartedly agree with the statement presented. Crime is a complex social and economic issue with many root causes. It is not a recent phenomenon. In fact, even in the Holy Bible, we see at the very beginning of time, regulations and laws were being broken and grievous crime committed. According to Britannia.com, crime is the intentional commission of an act usually deemed socially harmful or dangerous and specifically defined prohibited and punishable under criminal law. The Oxford Dictionary indicates that crime is not only an action, but it's also an omission which constitutes an offense and is punishable by law. There are a long list of actions and omissions that are considered criminal activity. However, in the interest of time and for the purpose of this speech, crime will be divided into two sections. These are felonies and misdemeanors. Felonies are graver crimes such as murder, robbery, arson, and drug possession with intent to supply. Felonies are generally punishable by death and the forfeiture of the perpetrator's land and goods to the crown. Misdemeanors. These crimes are generally punishable by fines or imprisonment. These include, but are not limited to, vandalism, petty theft, disorderly conduct, and domestic violence. The procedures of courts differ significantly according to the kind of crime the defendant was charged with and whether or not the perpetrator is a repeat offender. Mr. Chairman, there's one factor that is not talking about enough. In our society, it is hush-hush and overlooked. Even in some cases, it is considered taboo to even discuss it. And this factor is the proximity of criminals to power. When criminals are able to infiltrate position of authority, they are able to use their power to protect themselves from prosecution and to amass wealth through illegal and often immoral means. This protection is sought and very much valued by criminals because they align themselves with politicians, judges, police, entrepreneurs, and other persons in civil society whose role is to serve the country and be moral compass to the community and society. Instead of being a moral guide and maintaining the laws of the country, it compromises those persons in authority, which in results leading to the slippery slope of corruption. This creates a culture of impunity, where criminals believe that they are above the law. Mr. Chairman, in some cases, the very same person or persons who should be pristine examples of good citizenship and upstanding morals are the ones who are heavily involved in criminal activities. I am sure that we all remember that uneventful morning, April 29, 2022, when the news broke that Drug Enforcement Agency in the USA arrested Premier Andrew Fye of the British Virgin Islands in a US drug sting. Premier Fye was arrested for alleged drug smuggling and money laundering in the US. Premier Andrew Fye was detained in Miami by US agents posing as cocaine traffickers from Mexican drug cartel for agreeing to help an informant pretending to be a member of the Sonora cartel, formerly headed, now detained, El Chapo, to move thousands of kilos of cocaine through the BVI port. Mr. Chairman, can you imagine the embarrassment and the scrutiny the residents of the British Virgin Islands were subjected to because of the ill-fated decision of someone elected to serve them? Can you imagine the unfathomable horror that we as Vincentians would feel that our very own and beloved Dr. Rolf Gonsalves? Our country would be simply devastated by such news. This is why it's so important that criminals' proximity to power be cut off. We need not tempt our leaders, and we certainly do not wish for the criminals to use authority figures as strongholds. In addition to reducing the proximity of criminals to power, it is also important to confiscate their ill-gotten gains. This will deprive them of resources they need to continue their criminal activities, and will send a strong message that crime does not pay. Persons may ask the question, why should we use or even touch criminal assets? After all, it is blood money, and it makes us no better than the criminal elements in society. To answer this question, Mr. Chairman, perhaps it's best to let our viewers and listeners know what is at stake. Mr. Chairman, I am sure that you are well aware that criminals use their ill-gotten gains to fund further criminal activity. This includes things like investing in new criminal ventures, bribing government officials, and law enforcement personnel. Criminals also use their ill-gotten gains to corrupt society by donating money to political campaigns and investing or creating businesses in an effort to launder money. There are those who may even argue that ill-gotten gains from criminal activities are sources of income and provide opportunities for marginalized persons and communities. And this may be a valid point, as some persons do fall through the cracks of the government system that should help them. However, this does not negate the importance of reducing criminals' proximity to power and confiscating ill-gotten gains. Mr. Chairman, it is clear that the ill-gotten gains are the lifeblood of criminal enterprises. This is why confiscating these assets not only cripples criminal organizations, but also serves as a powerful deterrent. Seizing unlawfully acquired wealth sends a clear message: crime does not pay. By channeling these confiscated resources back into community development, education, and healthcare, we invest in the future, breaking the cycle of crime and poverty. A comprehensive approach that encompasses all these aspects is the key to combating crime effectively. Finally, Mr. Chairman, it is essential to foster a culture of lawfulness. This means educating the public about the importance of the law and promoting the respect of the rule of the law, and all citizens should respect and adhere to the rule of the law, from the Prime Minister to the custodian. A culture of lawfulness is built upon education, awareness, and the active participation of citizens by integrating comprehensive legal education into school curricula and community programs. We empower individuals with the knowledge of their rights and responsibilities, thereby teaching and reinforcing to the people of our beloved country the art and the skill of being a good citizen. Moreover, it is imperative that law enforcement agencies engage with communities, building trust and cooperation and facilitating the wheels of justice in a prompt manner. To bring my speech to a close, Mr. Chairman, unless we curtail the activities of criminals by creating a community of culture of lawfulness, redirect the ill-gotten gains from criminal activities to community service activities that promote socio-economic development of the society at large and reduce criminals' proximity to power by creating and enforcing laws to prevent persons in authority from aiding criminals, then the horrendous events of April 29, 2022 and July 19, 2023 will escalate in our society, and we may lose our esteemed title of Haruna, Land of the Blessed. I thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Robertson. Ms. Robertson spoke for
9 minutes, 56 seconds. Wow.
9 minutes, 56 seconds. We now have from the St. Joseph Convent, Kingston, Kevisha Richardson. I'll just give the judges a moment.
Some elevation. You want to stand up something?
He who does not prevent crime where he can encourages it. Madam Chairperson, Her Excellency Governor General Dame Susan Duggan, Parliamentary Representative for East Kingston Dwight Fitzgerald Bramble, Senior Education Officer Dr. Godwin James, Marketing Manager of Flow Ms. Nicola Williams Rogers, Ms. Cornelia Moses, Zone Chair, Lions Club, Zone 3C,
Ms. Janelle George, President, Lions Club South, other distinguished Lions and Leos, principals and teachers, judges, the media, listeners and viewers, ladies and gentlemen, fellow students, good evening. Today, I stand before you to address a topic of paramount importance, one that exemplifies the gravity of our current situation. The words that utter with urgency are these: unless criminals' proximity to power is reduced, their ill-gotten gains confiscated, and a culture of lawfulness fostered, the level of crime will remain at unacceptable levels. Madam Chairperson, the Caribbean with its vibrant cultures and beautiful landscapes is a region with immense potential, but beneath this picturesque surface lies a harsh reality. A reality marred by high crime rates, organized crime syndicates, and corruption. To illustrate this, I turn to the works of Dr. Anthony C. Bryan, a prominent Caribbean scholar who has extensively researched the implications of crime on the region. Dr. Bryan's studies reveal that crime is a pervasive issue in the Caribbean, deeply ingrained in the fabric of society. One of the most concerning aspects is the proximity of criminals to positions of power. This proximity fosters a culture of impunity where wrongdoers go unpunished and ill-gotten gains continue to flow into the hands of the corrupt. As Dr. Bryan's research underscores, the intertwining of crime and politics is a common theme in the Caribbean. This symbiotic relationship perpetuates a cycle of crime, making it difficult for law-abiding citizens to break free from the shackles of fear and insecurity. Madam Chairperson, to address this issue, we must take decisive steps to reduce criminals' proximity to power. This can be achieved through transparent and accountable governance, reforms in our political systems, and the establishment of robust anti-corruption mechanisms. We must also demand that our leaders uphold the rule of law and refrain from turning a blind eye to corruption, even within their own ranks. To further illustrate the profound impact of this statement at hand, I turn our attention to two specific cases: the infamous Alan Stanford and the Antonio Capasso Jellizo money laundering case, and how they have affected the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union, ECCU. Madam Chairperson, Alan Stanford, a man once celebrated as a financial guru, was unmasked as the mastermind of one of the most significant Ponzi schemes in history. His deceitful actions had a profound impact on the ECCU nation as he became a trusted figure within the financial sector of several Caribbean nations. It serves as a grim reminder that proximity to power can create an environment where criminals can exploit our institutions. Stanford's scheme shook the very foundation of our economic stability, causing immense financial loss and eroding the trust of investors and the general public. It is evident that when individuals with malicious intent infiltrate positions of influence, the ripple effect on our economy is devastating. Had it not been for the intelligence gathered for strong collaboration with international partners for mutual legal assistance, which allows for the exchange of vital information and evidence in transnational corruption cases, Mr. Stanford may still be at large. Actively participating in global anti-corruption initiatives led by esteemed organizations such as the United Nations and Interpol amplifies the collective impact of our efforts, transcending borders to create a united front against corruption. Madam Chairperson, in stark contrast to Stanford, the Antonio Capasso Jellizo money laundering case is a testament to the power of justice when criminals are held accountable. Capasso, a prominent local businessman, was implicated in a money laundering scheme that threatened the integrity of our financial system. However, through rigorous investigation and a commitment to the rule of law, he was confiscated and his ill-gotten gains were. This arrest not only disrupted a significant criminal network, but also sent a powerful message: no one, regardless of their influence, is above the law. To further cement this statement, just last year, police constables UN Grant and Zachary Layton were arrested and charged for assault and burglary and gun and ammunition burglary, respectively. 3 years prior, police constable Ian Jacobs also faced the same fate for illegal possession of marijuana. Prime examples of putting rat for Watchman Khan. Such cases remind us of the importance of limiting criminals' proximity to power, ensuring that justice prevails even in the face of formidable adversaries. We must take decisive steps, implementing a comprehensive strategy that strikes at the very heat of corruption and lawlessness. As we delve deeper into the topic of at hand, let us explore the concrete steps we can undertake to fortify our society against the encroachment of criminal influence. Madam Chairperson, it is imperative to strengthen our legal frameworks. We must enact and vigorously enforce anti-corruption laws, specifically aimed at individuals entangled in criminal activities. Strict penalties must be imposed on those found guilty, ensuring that the consequences of their actions are swift and severe. Simultaneously, our asset recovery laws must be fortified, making it easier to seize assets through nefarious means. By preventing criminals from enjoying the spoils of their illicit activities, we weaken their foes and strip them of their power. The Jalisu case underscores the importance of ensuring that criminals are not immune to the reach of law. When we successfully confiscate their ill-gotten gains, we not only strike a blow against their criminal activities, but also recover sources that can be reinvested in the betterment of our society. This case proves that justice can and should prevail. But laws and convictions are only part of the equation, Madam Chairperson. To truly effect change, we must foster a culture of lawfulness that permeates every aspect of our lives. This culture is not just the responsibility of law enforcement, but of every citizen. It begins with an education that promotes respect for the law and emphasizes the consequences of criminal behavior. We must shift our focus from punishment to prevention, and this is where Dr. Maxine Thompson's research on crime prevention in the Caribbean becomes invaluable. Dr. Thompson emphasizes the importance of community-based initiatives, education, and outreach programs. These efforts can reshape the mindset of youth, instilling values of respect for the law and a commitment to the well-being of our societies. We can also draw inspiration from a local initiative where former gang members and at-risk youth were engaged in dialogue and mentorship programs. Through open conversations and positive role models, these young individuals found alternatives to a life of crime, showcasing the power of community-driven efforts in law-abiding citizens. Madam Chairperson, to bring about a culture of lawfulness, we can be motivated by the resilience and unity of the ECCU nations. Despite the setbacks caused by individuals like Alan Stanford, the region has demonstrated its ability to come together and rebuild. It is in times of adversity that the bonds of trust and cooperation are forged, enabling us to foster a society that is unwavering in its commitment to lawfulness. In conclusion, the cases of Alan Stanford and Antonio Kepaso Jelizo serves as constant reminders of the urgency of our mission. They reveal the devastation that can be wrought when criminals are in close proximity to power and the profound impact of holding them accountable and confiscating their ill-gotten gains. By fostering a culture of lawfulness, we not only protect our economies, but also the civil order of our society. Madam Chairperson, let us remember these cases as a call to action, a call to ensure that criminals are never allowed to tarnish our institutions, and that justice and lawfulness prevail. May we be inspired by these lessons too. Fight on honestly. Our politicians and police make way for a society, one that is crime-free. Fight on, come and stand with me. Confiscation is one the key. If we want to see less criminals here in Sweet Vincy, Only through our collective efforts can we create a world where crime levels are truly at an acceptable minimum, where our societies thrive in safety and prosperity. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Kavisha. Kavisha spoke for
9 minutes, 45 seconds.
9 minutes, 45 seconds. Representing the St. Vincent Grammar School, Christian Joseph. Judges are ready.
Can you carefully? Yeah.
Madam Chairperson, Her Excellency Governor General Dame Susan Duggan, Parliamentary Representative for East Kingston, Dwight Fitzgerald Bramble, Senior Education Officer, Dr. Godwin James, Marketing Manager of Flow, Mrs. Nicola Williams Rogers, Mrs. Cornelia Moses, Zone Chair, Lions Club Zones Tracy, Mrs. Janelia George, President Lions Club South, other distinguished Lions and Leos, principals and teachers, judges, the media, listeners and viewers, ladies and gentlemen, fellow students, good evening. Man down. Chairperson, my heart sank as this headline flashed across my mobile device screen from Asbert Network News. When will this end? This troubles my spirit. Crime does not pay is a slogan that has been around for nearly 100 years and is often repeated as a means of discouraging young people from living a life of crime. The topic up for discussion tonight is, unless criminals' proximity to power is reduced, their ill-gotten gains confiscated, and a culture of lawfulness fostered, the level of crime will remain at unacceptable levels. Chairperson, I share this view for the most part. Let us first examine what it means to have proximity to power. This simply refers to having access or closeness to those in authority, a special relationship where one can qualify for particular privileges. Chairperson, it is extraordinarily difficult to argue persuasively that criminals enjoy such close proximity to powerful persons within our society. Many people make bold assertions, but they are generally speculative with no real factual basis. However, there are some instances, Chairperson, where those speculations seem to have some merit. In one of St. Vincent's most recent high-profile drug cases, on January 22nd, 2022, police arrested and charged a nurse in connection with 60 kilograms of cocaine found at the Owea Clinic. This was estimated to carry a street value of approximately $1,798,200 EC dollars. As the case unfolded, there was intense interest in the outcome, with prosecutor Renrick Cato telling Chief Magistrate Rishan Brown the public is anxiously awaiting the sentence of the course in this case. Nevertheless, we all know the outcome. The defendant was sentenced to a mere 2 years, 10 months. Many citizens were baffled by the outcome of this case. Legal practitioners question
why such a serious offense was tried at the Magistrates Court and not the High Court. Of course, Chairperson, the Director of Public Prosecutions has no legal duty to explain the decisions of our office to the public. But those decisions are not without significant impact. Be that as it may, cases like these, Chairperson, are precisely the types of cases that arouse public speculation about criminals' proximity to power. There seems to be no logical reason or alternative explanation as to how such a high-profile case ended in such a manner. But more importantly, Chairperson, in getting into the crux of the matter, what message does the outcome of this case send to us as young people growing up in our Vincentian society? Should we go on to community college, try to become a national scholar, and go on to university? Or is it more profitable to become engaged in drug trafficking? At the end of the day, if an individual can make almost $2 million in one transaction at the risk of going to prison for less than 3 years, many youths will say that this is a risk worth taking. Would crime remain at an acceptable level in any country if decisions coming out of the courtroom lead young minds to think that crime is not severely punished? This is sad. Many youths conclude that what is good for the goose is better for the gander. But more importantly, Chairperson, it should surprise no one that the narcotics officers in St. Vincent and the Grenadines made another major drug bust in August this year, when they intercepted 2 boats off the coast of Rock Gutter, finding 398 pounds of cannabis on board. It should surprise no one, Chairperson, that we have already surpassed the 2022 murder record. 43 murders have already been committed. Several of these remain unsolved by our security forces. Chairperson, on July 20th this year, 5 persons were wiped out at one place in Kingston. The motive for these murders has been assumed rather than determined, and no one has yet been arrested. On September 30th, a 74-year-old man was gunned down at the entrance to his home, a mere 100 meters from his workplace in Arnesville. Police have eliminated robbery as the motive for the murder, noting that the wallet of the deceased was found in his pocket untouched. Ladies and gentlemen, should this not be concerning for all of us? In Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 11, Solomon, the wisest man who ever lived, wrote, and I quote, "Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil." End of quote. Chairperson, if crime is not punished quickly, people would feel it is safe to do wrong. This, in my own mind, is critical in reducing the crime rate in any country. A culture of lawfulness must be fostered. Ladies and gentlemen, as we focus on ill-gotten gains, things possessed through fraudulent means, remember the case where businessman Anthony Kepasa Jeliso was jailed for 10 years for money laundering. Consequently, the state moved to confiscate his assets under its proceeds of crime and money laundering laws. Now, let us go further afield to Antigua, where Mitchell Joseph was fined $30,000 after a search warrant at his house unearthed 1 kilo and 397 grams of cannabis, 16,895 EC dollars and 50 cents, $436 US in cash, and paraphernalia that is often associated with the sale of cannabis. While these attempts must be applauded, have we truly exhausted all methods to clamp down on such criminals? Grenville Williams, the then director of the region's Asset Recovery Unit, stated, "An effective system is one which deprives criminals of their benefit from criminal conduct and ensures that their ill-gotten gains are not allowed to be reinvested in further criminal activity." He went further to state that not only must justice be done, it must be seen to be done. It is therefore well understood by all the stakeholders that unless criminals are stripped of their benefits from crime, they will continue and the level of crime will remain at an unacceptable level. Chairperson, I humbly submit that the matter of establishing and sustaining a culture of lawfulness rests in large part with the government. However, it is important to highlight that this responsibility is a shared one, as the government cannot do it alone. Quite apart from the fact that we, the citizens, play important roles as witnesses and jurors, the family is the foundation of society, and more than any other force, it shapes the values of a child. According to the International Federation for Family Development, those who build stable families have lower risk of mental illness, alcoholism, and domestic violence. There's also a reduced rate of drug addiction and lower incidences of criminal activities. I want to echo the words of Calypsonian Iper when he said, "Society is in trouble anytime the family fails. The backbone of any nation rests in the foundation of the family." Ladies and gentlemen, I conclude by endorsing the sentiments expressed by our Prime Minister at the recently held CARICOM Regional Symposium. And I quote, "Addressing crime calls for a re-engineering of the family, church, media, communities, business, and the state." End of quote. I appeal to all stakeholders involved. This island is ours. If we are serious about reducing the level of crime within our country or region, it is critical for us to reduce what appears to be the criminals' proximity to power. Let us confiscate their proceeds of crime. Let us foster a culture of lawfulness. Then, and only then, will the words penned by Phyllis Punnett in our national anthem have real meaning. May peace reign from shore to shore, and God bless and keep us true. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Christian. Christian spoke for
9 minutes, 31 seconds.
9 minutes, 31 seconds. Representing the Thomas Saunders Secondary School, Soren Phillips.
Okay. All right. Madam Chairperson, Her Excellency Governor General Dame Susan Duggan, Parliamentary Representative for East Kingston, Dwight Fitzgerald Bramble, Senior Education Officer, Dr. Godwin James, Marketing Manager of Flow, Miss Nakila Williams Rogers, Miss Cornelia Moses, Zone Chair, Lions Club Zone 3C, Miss Janelle George, President, Lions Club South, other distinguished Lions and Leos, principals and teachers, judges, the media, listeners and viewers, ladies and gentlemen, fellow students, good evening. Mr. Chairman, according to the human rights group Equal Rights, Access and Opportunities SVG Inc., and I quote, violent crimes, especially those involving lethal force, appear to be at an all-time high in contemporary Vincentian society. This much is proven by the statistics. In 2021, the number of reported homicides in St. Vincent and the Grenadines was 32. In 2022, this figure jumped to 42 homicides, shattering the 2016 record of 40. This perpetual increase in crime was brought to a peak on July 19, 2023 at 8 p.m., when a quiet night in the capital of Kingston was pierced by gunfire. The Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force confirmed that 5 males were fatally wounded on one of the deadliest days in our nation's history. Today, our homicide count sits at 43, with 2 more months remaining in the year. Esteemed audience, I know I speak for many of us when I declare that Vincentians are tired of our society's reactive approach to crime. Mr. Chairman, reducing criminals' proximity to power, confiscating their ill-gotten gains, and fostering a lawful culture are crucial steps in reducing crimes to acceptable levels, emphasizing the importance of addressing both punishment and preventative strategies. According to the Oxford Dictionary, crime is an action or omission which constitutes an offense punishable by law. According to Paul A. Rowley, Chief Superintendent of the Police at the Royal Bahamas Police Force, I quote, "Violent crime is extremely high in our region. It is the single biggest concern facing our police forces. Furthermore, because of our region's reliance on tourism, the impact on national image and psyche might be considerable." Mr. Chairman, one of the fundamental aspects of combating crime is reducing criminals' proximity to power and positions of influence. Furthermore, criminals who manage to infiltrate or manipulate positions of authority can perpetrate crimes with impunity, shielding themselves from legal consequences. This proximity can manifest in various forms. Corrupt officials, individuals with criminal backgrounds ascending to influential positions, or criminals in networks exerting undue influence over our institutions. Such proximity to power not only emboldens criminals, but also erodes the public trust in institutions. However, Mr. Chairman, this issue can be addressed by strengthening anti-corruption strategies. The Institute for Statecraft 2018 says that each government should develop its own national anti-corruption strategies that considers and integrates local government priorities. Take, for example, the nation of Ireland. In 2014, their anti-corruption strategy was launched to address their country's issue of rampant money laundering and low trust in government institutions. Therefore, Ireland's strategy systematically induced fiscal and budget transparency and standards for public officials, legal reforms directed at tightening laws criminalizing bribery, and whistleblower protection so that any civilian or employee can report a crime in confidence without fear of retaliation. Today, these anti-corruption measures have led Transparency International to rank Ireland as one of the top 10 least corrupt nations on the planet, a significant improvement from their lower rank in 2014. Mr. Chairman, the time has come for our own legal reforms, independent oversight committees, and transparency. St. Vincent and the Grenadines must develop and enforce our own stringent anti-corruption policy to root out the weeds among our beautiful crops. Mr. Chairman, another crucial component of reducing crime levels is the confiscation of ill-gotten gains obtained through criminal activities. Mr. Chairman, permit me to quote the words of writer Lane Garrison. "In the end, crime does not pay. Moreover, it is no secret that criminals are motivated by financial gain and the prospect of enjoying their illegal activities serves as a powerful incentive. Not to mention, as criminals flaunt their ill-gotten gains to the public, citizens, and particularly the young or those made vulnerable through unemployment, are enticed to join the seemingly prosperous life of crime. Hence, confiscating these gains deprives criminals of their rewards and sends a clear message that there are no benefits to engaging in criminal activities. Furthermore, confiscation of ill-gotten gains can be achieved through legal mechanisms such as forfeiture laws, which enable authorities to seize assets acquired through criminal means. In fact, Mr. Chairman, St. Vincent and the Grenadines is no stranger to asset forfeiture laws. The Proceeds of Crime and Money Laundering Prevention Act of 2001 states that if the court determines that a defendant has gained any advantage from the commission of money laundering, drug trafficking, or any relevant offense, it shall make a confiscation order and determine the amount to be recovered. However, Mr. Chairman, it is my firm belief that any confiscated or physical or financial assets must also be redirected towards the community development or victim restitution. Moreover, the government must invest in our law enforcement agencies to ensure that they have the resources needed to carry out these in-depth investigations. That being said, confiscating ill-gotten gains alone will not suffice. Promoting a culture of lawfulness is crucial for long-term crime reduction, as citizens who understand the value of licitness are more likely to report crimes, cooperate with law enforcement, and reject criminal behavior. Education and public awareness programs are key to promoting this culture. The Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe launched a youth crime and drug use prevention program using social media campaigns to educate the youth on organized crime, corruption, and drug use. The Vincentian public should leverage social media to educate themselves on these dangers. Additionally, national crime prevention curricula should be developed for school and academia. Promoting a culture of lawfulness requires active involvement from various stakeholders, including the government, civil society, and the public. In conclusion, the fight against crime is a battle that requires our collective effort and unwavering commitment. We cannot turn a blind eye to criminals in proximity to power, nor can we allow them to indulge in their unlawful deeds. Instead, we must work together to reduce this proximity, confiscate their ill-gotten gains, and foster a culture of lawfulness. Only by doing so can we hope to bring crime to acceptable levels and build safer, more just and prosperous communities for ourselves and the future generations. Let us stand united in this enterprise for the betterment of our society and triumph justice over lawlessness. And stated by Robert Johnson, we can only break the cycle of criminal power when we stand together against it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Phillips. Mr. Phillips spoke for
9 minutes, 25 seconds.
9 minutes, 25 seconds. We now have Rayonna Ross of the Mountain View Adventist Academy.
Madam Chairperson, Her Excellency Governor General Dame Susan Duggan, Parliamentary Representative for East Kingston, Dwight Fitzgerald Bramble, Senior Education Officer, Dr. Goodwin James, Marketing Manager of Flow, Ms. Nicola Williams Rogers, Ms. Cornelia Moses, Zone Chair, Lions Club, Zone 3C, Ms. Janelle George, President, Lions Club South, other distinguished Lions and Leos, principals and teachers, judges, the media, listening and viewers, ladies and gentlemen, fellow students, a pleasant good night. 20th July, 13-year-old among 5 shot dead in Kingston. July 28th, politician fined for gun ammo. August 6th, cell phones in prison a security concern for DPP staff, prosecutor says. September 7th, construction worker gunned down near school in Buckermont Bay. September 12th, the Vincentian man who was cleared in July 2022 of charges in connection with an EC $4 million drug bust in Grenada was murdered there. October 5th, prosecutor frustrated as man granted bail on 8th charge in 16 months. October 17th, opposition leader says he sometimes feel unsafe in SVG. October 20th, 60-year-old farmer found dead with gunshot wounds. These are a few headlines extracted from Eyewitness News 2023. Chairperson, undoubtedly, criminal activities in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is definitely at an unacceptable and frightening level. Unless criminals' proximity to power is reduced, their ill-gotten gains confiscated, and a culture of lawfulness fostered, the level of crime will remain at unacceptable levels. I stand in support of this proposition. Before I proceed, let us clarify a few key terms and expressions. Chairperson, power in this context refers to individuals in authority or systems of governance. According to the online Oxford Dictionary, the term proximity refers to the state of, and I quote, nearness in space-time or relationship, end of quote. We can therefore understand the expression proximity to power to be referring to criminals having a close connection or relationship with individuals in authority or with governance systems. Chairperson, the same online source defines the term fostered as, and I quote, encourage the development of something, especially something desirable, end of quote. To foster a culture of lawfulness, therefore, simply means to encourage lawfulness. In this presentation, I will attempt the following. First, examine our current criminal climate, and secondly, I shall examine steps that can be taken to reduce criminal activity. According to the World Justice Project 2023, and I quote, for the 5th consecutive year, the rule of law weakened in more countries than those which it improved, 85 versus 54 countries. More than 4.4 billion people live in countries where the rule of law weakened in the past year. This is equivalent to 56% of the world's population, end of quote. Chairperson, a decrease in the rule of law can be a sign of unsettling changes taking place in a community, legal system, or government. It implies a deviation from the ideals and ideas that support a culture of lawfulness which could result in instability, a breakdown in government, and the erosion of individual rights. According to the Robert Cherry 2023, and I quote, while it is important to have a balanced approach to law enforcement, the unwillingness to hold individuals responsible for illegal behaviors has created an environment in which lawlessness has become commonplace, end of quote. when individuals with criminal intent or connections to criminal organizations appear to be protected by power and are therefore immune to prosecution and due process, it undermines the very foundation of our legal system. It erodes trust in our institutions and can lead to corruption at all levels of government. Therefore, reducing criminal proximity to power is essential for the preservation of justice and the rule of law. Chairperson, if we do not take measures to reduce this proximity, we risk perpetuating a culture where criminal behavior is tolerated and even rewarded. What is a politician doing with an unlicensed firearm and ammunition? How do you explain the vast number of cell phones found in prison cells? If these loopholes in our governance structure are not closed, the problem is bound to persist and become worse. Chairperson, criminals often accumulate vast amounts of wealth through illegal activities, and when they are allowed to keep these ill-gotten gains, it not only rewards their criminal behavior, but also perpetuates a cycle of criminality. Confiscating criminals' ill-gotten gains, Chairperson, is a crucial component of combating crime and its effects. According to the Oxford Dictionary, to confiscate is to, and I quote, take or seize someone's property with authority, end of quote. Chairperson, according to the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, and I quote, the large revenues generated from organized crime activity can affect the legitimate economy and in particular the banking system adversely. Furthermore, even after having invested in the legal economy, organized criminal groups often continue to use illicit tools and methods to advance their business. Confiscation of assets is a way to undermine the fiscal structure and even the survival of an organized criminal group. End of quote. Chairperson, when individuals see that the rule of law is enforced consistently, that criminals are not allowed to escape justice, and that the legal system is fair and impartial, they are more likely to respect and abide by the law. Chairperson, being proactive and fostering a culture of lawfulness is vital for the prevention of crime. Exactly how is such culture fostered? The biblical injunction found in Psalms 127 and verse 1 says, and I quote, except the Lord build a house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh, but in vain. End of quote. In other words, our best efforts will fall short and are doomed to fail if they are not founded on sound biblical principles. Individuals in authority must be individuals of integrity, individuals driven by sound principles rather by greed and selfish ambitions. I'm reminded of the Israelites who were able to defeat the mighty fortress of Jericho when they strictly followed the instructions of God. And shortly after that momentous victory, were defeated by a much weaker force at Ai. Because there was corruption within the ranks, leaders whose actions were in direct opposition to the instructions of God, leaders who were driven by greed. Additionally, if we are to successfully foster a culture of lawfulness, due attention must be given to the basic foundation elements of society, that is, our home. It's within our homes that values are first taught, cultivated, and nurtured. Fathers and mothers must understand and need help in understanding that they have a responsibility to teach and guide their children into cultivating positive values, respect, honesty, diligence, truth, etc. This doesn't happen by chance. Listen to the instructions given to the Israelite parents found in Deuteronomy 6:7, and I quote, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, end of quote. That suggests consciousness and determination. It is my firm conviction that while many of our homes are trying, too many are failing our children. There are too many absent and visiting fathers, and by far too many weak mothers. It is this failure that is translated into corruption and criminal activities in our society. Unless this is fixed, the problem will persist. Chairperson, fostering a culture of peace must begin at the home with Christ at the center. In conclusion, let me reiterate that reducing criminal proximity to power, confiscating their ill-gotten gains, and fostering a culture of lawfulness built on sound biblical principles are essential steps in helping to lower the level of crime in our society. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ross. We now have Janelle Stowe representing the St. Vincent Girls High School. Sorry, Rihanna spoke for?
9 minutes, 38 seconds.
9 minutes, 38 seconds. Janelle Stowe of the St. Vincent Girls High School.
Madam Chairperson, Her Excellency Governor General Dame Susan Duggan, Parliamentary Representative for East Kingston Dwight Fitzgerald Bramble, Senior Education Officer Dr. Godwin James, Marketing Manager of Flow Mrs. Nicola Williams Rogers, Ms. Cornelia Moses, Zone Chair, Lions Club Zone 3C, Ms. Janelle George, President, Lions Club South, other distinguished Lions and Leos, principals and teachers, judges, the media, listeners and viewers, ladies and gentlemen, fellow students, good evening. Police find 6 pistols, 2 rifles, 200 rounds of ammo at customs. One fined $64,000 for cocaine valued over $1 million. Wave of violence, 5 murdered in St. Vincent and the Grenadines in one day. SVG ranked number 7 in the world for the highest murder rate. Chairperson, these are just some of the unsavory headlines plaguing our news articles weekly. With such occurrences, it is no secret that we have a drug and crime culture here. Thus, I agree that unless criminals' proximity to power is reduced, their ill-gotten gains confiscated, and a culture of lawfulness fostered, the level of crime will remain at unacceptable levels via the drug trade, money laundering, gun violence, and fragile sentencing guidelines. What has caused this proliferation of crime? Prime Minister Gonzalez acknowledged during an interview on WeFM, quote, "There is a connection between gun violence and the cocaine trade," end quote. While in a St. Vincent Times article, Mr. Ernesto Cook highlights, and I quote, "The U.S. has long recognized St. Vincent and the Grenadines as a significant drug transit area, particularly for the movement of cocaine from South America to other international markets," end quote. Children learn the intricacies of power at an early age from animated movies like Cinderella and Superman, whose plots are based on the subjugation of the will of others by characters who are more powerful, such as Cinderella's wicked stepmother and the rich and seemingly untouchable Lex Luthor. Can you imagine a child growing up with the belief that once you have money and or political connections, you are untouchable? Sadly, this is the mindset of many Vincentians today. German sociologist Max Weber defined power as the chance that an individual in a social relationship can achieve his or her own will, even against the resistance of others. Simply put, that person is untouchable. In SVG, we see instances where power has led to the protection of those with ill-gotten gains, and many of our youths, especially our young men, are attracted to both the power and the gains. For example, an infamous Vincentian was gunned down in Grenada recently, merely 1 year after being cleared of an EC$4 million drug bust. This individual in 2011 was extradited to Tortola for a 2008 drug bust where he was expected to serve 6 years, but his sentence was overturned based on a technicality. This case supports the theory that access to money provides individuals with power to afford reputable lawyers, which can lead to sentences being overturned, not only here in St. Vincent, but in other Caribbean islands as well. With such an example, it is obvious why our youths believe that they can also strike fool's gold, willingly becoming pawns, especially those from impoverished backgrounds. The recent announcement of stiffer penalties for firearm crimes by Prime Minister Gonzalez has invigorated me with new hope. Hope that people who are thinking of the financial gains associated with crime, particularly gun crime, would be deterred. In a recent press release, Prime Minister Gonzalez stated that our sentencing guidelines for guns are the lowest in the Caribbean. Currently, the maximum sentence for someone who is caught with an illegal firearm is 5 years in prison or a fine of $2,000. If the holder has the intent to injure someone, then the maximum sentence is 10 years or no more than $10,000 in fines. Chairperson, it is clear that we need to have stiffer penalties because criminals are not deterred by the current sentencing guidelines, as can be seen with our current crime rates. Moreover, people are not easily deterred from committing murder due to the unconstitutionality of mandatory death sentences and the lack of monitoring of criminals. Is it any wonder why we have surpassed last year's murder count of 42 without being at the year's end? Additionally, we have seen a case where there were inconsistencies with the sentencing guidelines. In that case, a registered nurse, dubbed the Queen of the North by social media users, was sentenced to 2 years and 10 months for 60 kilograms of cocaine, while a gentleman in 2016 was sentenced to 6 years for less cocaine. In that same bust, another gentleman was fined $64,000 for 3.6 kilos of cocaine, and no custodial sentence was handed down to him. Chairperson, this brings to mind the idiom, equity must not only be done, it must be seen to be done. Despite some flaws with our current sentencing guidelines, our government has taken small strides to minimize money laundering. This is evident with the introduction of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Proceeds of Crime Act 2013 and the Anti-Money Laundering Guidance, where several stringent changes were made to the banking and money transfer system, such as the submission of 2 pieces of picture identification, declaration of the source of funds, consent to verify information given, and restrictions in the amount of monies that can be withdrawn from or deposited into an account. These measures are necessary steps to curb the crime surge, as financial institutions are now forced to institute these measures to protect themselves from liability and to aid the government's efforts to clamp down on individuals who benefit from illegal activities. Furthermore, the 2002 establishment of the Financial Intelligence Unit, FIU, is an important strategy in the fight against crime and the proceeds of crime. The unit's director, Ms. Letitia Sandy, aptly elucidated the response between crime and finance with her statement, quote, "Money laundering, terrorist financing, and other serious financial crimes are issues which impact all members of the global community, threatening the right to peaceably enjoy one's life," end quote. Thus, the establishment of the FIU is a step in the right direction in the confiscation of money that is illegally sourced, as seen in the 2017 collaboration between the FIU, the SVG Coast Guard, and the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency, where a Vincentian boat was intercepted transporting cocaine with an estimated street value of $125 million US. Chairperson, can you imagine the power and influence the person or persons to whom the money belonged to have, and the additional power they would have received if the money reached its intended target? Chairperson, it is established that criminal activities, money, and power are intricately intertwined. Thus, it is important that more stringent laws need to be implemented and enforced in order to combat crime. Indeed, the government has implemented some measures in an attempt to curtail criminal activities associated with the power in which money is generated. As a society, we can do more and must do more to aid this fight. Let us monitor the extraparental influences that our children are exposed to daily that negate our morals and values. And most importantly, make those who are comfortably living a life of crime uncomfortable by stripping them of their ill-gotten gains. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Toe. Ms. Toe spoke for
9 minutes, 7 seconds.
9 minutes, 7 seconds. We would now move on to the students' prepared speech. A reminder that the speech should not exceed more than 5 minutes. You will have the first bell when you come to the podium, the second bell at 4 minutes, and the third bell at 5 minutes. So we welcome the Adelphi Secondary School, Lisa Robertson.
Protocol has already been established. Behind the screens, beyond the emojis, a hidden battle rages. Join me in unveiling the truth about cyberbullying. Heatwave. I don't really know what heatwave is, but I know what heat is and what wave is. Sounds familiar? Madam Chairperson, I thought long and hard about my topic for my student-prepared speech. At first, I considered youth involvement in gang violence. I also considered how can government agencies help orphans? Because I know firsthand what it is to be an orphan and to struggle emotionally and financially. In light of the negative publicity that surrounded Heatwave, I thought it fitting to take a stance and speak out against cyberbullying of young people, especially by the adults whose ultimate responsibility is to guide the next generation. To do this, Madam Chairperson, we must first define cyberbullying, otherwise known as online harassment. Second, discuss the effects of online harassment on students. And third, impress upon the good citizens of this island the importance of doing better. According to Durham University in the United Kingdom, online harassment can be defined as the use of information and communication technologies by an individual or a group to repeatedly cause harm to another person. This may involve threats, embarrassment, and humiliation in an online setting. Does this sound familiar? I am sure that everyone in this room and those listening online know at least one person who was a victim of humiliation via Facebook. Madam Chairperson, we should note that this harassment is quite prevalent on various social media, such as Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, and Twitter. A poll done on September 27, 2018 by Pew Research Center indicated that 59% of US teens have been bullied or harassed online. The majority, 42%, highlighted that they were bullied on Instagram, while 37% of persons both stated that this harassment took place via Facebook. Ladies and gentlemen, do you think that this is what Mark Zuckerberg had in mind when he created Facebook and bought the rights to Instagram? I recall the efforts of my teacher leading up to the preliminary round of this prestigious competition. Also, I vividly recall the endless hours of practice, both at school and at home. Yet, I still felt anxious, and I am positive that I was not the only participant who felt this way. Madam Chairperson, persons must understand that being on this podium is not as easy as it may seem. And to shame a student or anyone just because they made an effort to represent themselves and their institution is not good enough and should certainly not be ideal to which we strive. Ladies and gentlemen, are you aware that the research shows that 41% of children in the United States of America report that their social anxiety is a result of cyberbullying? Do we really want to know what would happen if our young victims of cyberbullying and harassment attempt to commit suicide? Would we really like that on our conscience? A well-known adage says, if a child lives with criticism, he learns to condemn. Is it really any wonder that the youth of today are seemingly so negative? We have learned from the best. We learn from you, the adults of the society. Ladies and gentlemen, are you surprised that one of my esteemed opponents in the preliminaries did not even make an effort to attempt her impromptu topic? I, for one, am not. I am sure as she stood on this prestigious podium, the online ridicule was played out in her mind's eye, and she just simply gave up before she started. Of course, created the situation for her to be the topic of much ridicule. Mr. Chairman, Madam Chairperson, as the next generation of adults in this blessed land and a potential female Prime Minister, I feel duty-bound to encourage persons to do better. At no time did I see on social media persons saying good job or well done. We need to step away from embarrassing and shaming others. It is not a rite of passage. It could have easily been any one of your relatives in that situation. I thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Lisa spoke for
5 minutes, 4 seconds.
5 minutes, 4 seconds. We now have Kevisha Richardson of the St. Joseph Convent, Kingstown.
protocol has already been established. Adapting to high temperatures, the need for changing uniforms in schools across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. As we all know, climate change is a global issue that affects us all, and our country, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, is no exception. Madam Chairperson, the country has been experiencing an increase in temperature, which has led to a need for adaptation measures in maintaining comfortable learning environments for students and teachers. The 2023 Caribbean heatwave is an intense heatwave that formed over the Caribbean, bringing historically high temperatures across the region. News sources and meteorologists describe the heat wave's intensity as unprecedented. The current school uniforms and classroom designs are not suitable for the high temperatures, causing discomfort and potentially affecting students' educational achievement. Madam Chairperson, did you know that the current uniform styles are still of British traditions? These uniforms were designed for protection in the cold climates, so why have we still held on to that colonial past, being an independent nation? Students across the country are trying to brave the heat in their school uniforms with blazers, ties, and other items of clothing which may not be the most conducive to the hot conditions. As a concerned student, I conducted random interviews at 6 secondary schools and 4 primary schools in the Kingston area. Madam Chairperson, many students are falling ill, and some professors said many pupils are developing heat rashes. Do not even talk about students who have skin conditions like eczema, respiratory conditions like asthma, and other underlying issues such as migraine headaches, sickle cell, and epilepsy, the last two from which my brother suffers from. I have seen almost every day he comes home complaining of excruciating headaches due to a very humid classroom. Madam Chairperson, when students are exposed to these current high temperatures and no freedom from these colonial uniforms, heat exhaustion and heat stroke are likely to happen. Who bears the burden to all this? Madam Chairperson, students and teachers are now becoming overwhelmed and highly frustrated while in a heated classroom. I could hear someone saying, well, buy some fans now. But will this alone solve the problem? This will contribute to a higher electricity bill, which will add more economic pressure on the government. Have you seen the fuel surcharge lately? Madam Chairperson, coping with the heat is very challenging for me and many other students. We need to dress in such a way that we do not retain too much heat. According to WHO, climate change is expected to cause approximately 250,000 additional deaths per year between 2030 and 2050, which includes deaths resulting from heat stress. Madam Chairperson, are we just going to idly sit by and allow students to be a part of this projected statistic in this colonial uniform? The local Met Office, in conjunction with the Ministry of Education, issued a bulletin on September 8, 2023, stating that, and I quote, warmer than usual temperatures are anticipated, and advised the general public to wear light-colored, loose-fitting, preferably cotton clothing, as dark synthetic clothing can actually absorb heat and make it harder for the body to stay cool. Isn't this an indication of the severity of the issue at hand? Did our Ministry of Education miss this memo? Or is it simply because most stakeholders have an AC unit in their office and that they could simply not be bothered? Madam Chairperson, I had a moment of extreme discomfort as I felt lightheaded and overheated during the first phase of this competition. I was expeditiously transported to a designated area in order to restore my vitality. Research reveals that children sweat less than adults and cannot regulate their body temperature as well. So what measures are schools taking to keep pupils safe? Madam Chairperson, to mitigate the effect of extreme heat on students and reduce the frequency of heat-related illnesses among students, the Ministry of Education can effect the changing of uniforms to lighter and more breathable materials, which can help reduce heat stress and improve comfort for students and workers while preserving our cultural identity. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Miss Richardson. Kivisha spoke for
4 minutes, 50 seconds.
4 minutes, 50 seconds. I now welcome Christian Joseph of the St. Vincent Grammar School.
Protocol having already been established, good evening again. Tap, tap, tap. Listen to the sound of our shoes. Look at them. They are crying out for repair. We need a cobbler. We need a cobbler now. Chairperson, ladies and gentlemen, I feel honored tonight to speak on a very delicate but interesting topic. Cobbler, cobbler, mend my shoe. According to cobblersdirect.com, a cobbler is a master craftsman, an artisan, a patcher, a stitcher, and a shiner of shoes. As we trek through our teenage years, our shoes get battered and worn, and we need to find an efficient cobbler. Cobblers are game changers. Chairperson, during our teenage years, we are exposed to some overwhelming external and internal struggles. We are expected to cope with hormonal changes, puberty, social and parental forces, work, and on top of all of that, school pressures. We have to live up to great expectations in the home, at school, and in our communities. The errands that we are sometimes expected to run wear us out. Chairperson, is society even stopping to consider the severe damage our shoes underwent as the world grappled with the corona pandemic? The World Health Organization, in its April 2020 policy brief on the impact of COVID-19 on children, notes, and I quote, "The harmful effects of this pandemic are expected to be most damaging for the children in the poorest countries and in the poorest neighborhoods, and for those in already disadvantaged or vulnerable situations." End of quote. Chairperson, our shoes got a beating as we navigated our online classrooms and kept up with chores at home. The soles of our shoes have worn thin. As we walk the hallowed halls of our schools, the challenges only intensify. The academic terrain is filled with pebbles of difficulties and mountains of expectations. It is a journey that demands us to remain physically, mentally, and spiritually strong. Our shoes must withstand the daily grind of lessons and examinations in the never-ending pursuit of knowledge. Chairperson, our shoes need fixing in order to keep those intellectual souls intact. The search for the cobbler is ongoing while the trials multiply. There are holes in our shoes as teenagers. The streets are lined with rough patches of societal pressures, peer influences, and the ever-present need for acceptance. As we traverse this intricate path, our shoes suffer scuffs and scratches. Chairperson, I can't help but notice those of my friends. They're in bad shape. They too need a cobbler. We need a reliable helper, someone with a steady hand to mend our shoes as we press on to the path of wisdom, understanding, success, and peaceful fulfillment. Is this cobbler a teacher, one who imparts knowledge and values, or is it our pastor or parent who provides unconditional love, support, mentorship, and insights from his or her own journey? Chairperson, we need that master craftsman, that artisan, that patcher, that stitcher, That China. Yes, we need a cobbler. We need to get our shoes fixed quickly to continue navigating the maze of home, school, and our community. We must be guided towards a path of resilience and personal growth. Like my friends with their own tattered shoes, I need a cobbler as I press on for the prize that lies ahead. And so for the last time tonight, I say, cobbler, cobbler, please mend my shoe. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Christian. Christian spoke for
4 minutes, 34 seconds.
4 minutes, 34 seconds. We now invite Soren Phillips of the Thomas Saunders Secondary School.
Alrighty. Can you hear me right? Protocol has already been established. Balancing life is the topic I chose to speak about today. I had many other choices to speak about, but this one is dear to me, for this is what I had to do throughout this preparation. Madam Chairman, according to Hiada Usman, and I quote, "Balancing is the key of life." According to Stephen R. Covey, he outlines that balancing life refers to the practice of effectively managing one's time, the energy and priorities to maintain a harmonious and fulfilling existence. I strongly believe that balancing life is not a luxury. It is a necessity for our overall well-being. In a world characterized by constant demands, technological distractions, and work pressures, finding equilibrium between these various aspects of life is crucial for our mental, emotional, and physical health. This debate will argue in favor of my proposition that balancing life is essential for well-being. Ms. Chairperson, there are several benefits to balancing life, and these may include preserving mental health. Balancing one's life is essential for preserving mental health, for constantly prioritizing work obligations can come at the expense of personal time and lead to stress, anxiety, and burnout. 2. Maintaining physical health. Balancing life encourages regular exercise, a healthy diet, and adequate sleep, all of which are essential for maintaining a physical well-being and getting things done. Fostering good relationships. Balancing life is essential for nurturing meaningful relationships. Neglecting family and friends in pursuit of professional success can strain relationships and lead to isolation if not checked. And fulfillment and happiness. Achieving a balanced life leads to a sense of fulfillment and happiness. Pursuing personal interests and passions outside of work, dedicating time to self-improvement, and engaging in leisure activities all contribute to a more content and satisfied life. Mr. Chairman, unfortunately, there are consequences to face for living an imbalanced life, and these may include stress and burnout, health problems that can affect you negatively, mental health issues which can also affect you negatively, relationship and strain imbalance. And if you notice something, these mirror the same things from a balanced life. Long-term health risk and many others. The list can go on and on. Mr. Chairman, to lessen these consequences, it is important to strive for balance in the various aspects of life. This may involve setting boundaries, prioritizing self-care, and seeking support when needed. Madam Chairman, I want to use myself as a case study to illustrate the importance of balancing life. Now, when I compare myself to before this public speaking competition, I never had the need to properly balance my life. Luckily, none of the previously mentioned aspects have ever seriously affected me. However, Madam Chairperson, I must confess that during the preparations for this prestigious event, the valuable lessons that I learned have an advantage of bringing a balance to my life. And as a result, I perform better in my athletic endeavors as well as my academics. Furthermore, and importantly, it's prevented me from experiencing the negative side effects such as being burnt out. Madam Chairman, take the words of a wise mentor of mine, and I quote, "In all these aspects of life, the principle of consistency is what balances them all out, all of which was raised to the power of the Most High. The key is sticking to the regiment, ensuring that the general approach that is integrated into all aspects of your psyche. In conclusion, striking a balance between life is essential for holistic well-being and success. It promotes physical and mental health, nurtures relationships, fosters personal growth, and enhances professional effectiveness. Balancing life is not an indulgence, but a necessity for a happier and more successful life. And as Janet Kingsford puts it, balance is not something you find, but it is something you create. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Phillips. Soren spoke for
5 minutes, 8 seconds.
5 minutes, 8 seconds. We now have Rihanna Ross of the Mountain View Adventist Academy.
Protocol has already been established. Good night. Drink water and mind my business. Mind my business. Drink water and mind your business. I believe that many of us would have been told at some time or the other to mind your business. And many of us would have said these same words to someone else. Tonight, I shall engage you in a critical discussion on this mantra, drink water and mind your business. This popular saying may sound harmless, and some may argue that it underscores the significance of personal boundaries and respect for others' privacy, and I am in agreement to some extent. Encouraging people to drink water and mind your business promotes the idea that we should remain focused solely on our personal well-being and interests. It ignores the fact that we live in an interconnected world where our actions affect the people and environment around us. It is my firm conviction that such narrow focus is a dangerous oversimplification of our responsibilities as members of society, encouraging apathy and indifference. The Bible in Mark 12:31 encourages us that we are to love our neighbors as ourselves. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines apathy as a lack of feeling or emotion. Our society, in my opinion, is fast getting to a state that epitomizes lack of feeling and emotion for our neighbors. It appears that too many Vincentians are comfortable with the mantra to drink water and mind your business. Chairperson, just recently on October 1st, 2023, the RSVG Police Force published a post of a missing teenager. A situation I believe that should have aroused immediate concern in all of us. However, this post garnered only 3 comments. one of which was SCEWPS, Stoops. Can you imagine that? Viewing and listening audience, when our young, bright school girls and boys are out late on evenings and night with much older men, engaging in questionable behaviors at the bus stop and surrounding areas by Massey, should we just drink water and mind our business? When van drivers stop at shops while transporting passengers to purchase 3 for 10, one for the driver, one for the conductor, and one for the smarty sitting on the conductor lap or right up under the driver. And when the music played in these vans that school children travel in every day only promotes violence and sexual immorality, do you think we can really afford to drink water and mind our business? When school children use indecent language without careful who hears them, when they display blatant disrespect for teachers and administrators, and this transcends to members of the public, cursing, disrespecting, and even slapping and fighting police officers, should we really just sit back and drink water and mind our business? Reality is, fellow Vincentians, can you afford that? While a 13-year-old girl, probably your own daughter, could be the victim of sexual molestation by a man who insists that after 12, it's time for lunch. Can you, while your beautiful, young, intelligent daughter, find those young men in the underworld attractive and gravitate towards them, becoming the mothers of their unwanted children? Can you, Vincentians, when you visit the supermarket and discover the prices for basic commodities are so high that you need a ladder in order to reach them, do you still want to drink water and mind your business? I believe by now you would definitely say no. As bad as our world is, think of how worse it would be had it not been for movements such as the Black Lives Matter movement, driven by individuals who did not simply mind their business, but rather recognized the need for collective action and social engagement. As Proverbs 27:17 says, and I quote, "As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another," end of quote. In conclusion, as we celebrate 44 years of political independence, let us resolve not to be known as a society where apathy, indifference, and neglect strive. Rather, let us embrace our collective responsibilities. We must remain engaged, informed, and committed to making our world a better place for all. We cannot afford to drink water and mind our own business. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Rihanna. Rihanna spoke for
4 minutes, 51 seconds.
4 minutes, 51 seconds. We now have Janelle Stowe of the St. Vincent Girls High School.
Protocol having been established, could you imagine? Chairperson, could you imagine a world where all women are safe? A world where we are treated like queens? A world where my grandmother was not raised to merely be someone's wife? A world where she had the opportunity to be a doctor, a lawyer, with no financial constraint? A world where women today do not have to look over their backs and lie fearful at night because of the evils that lurk? A world where mothers do not have to worry for their babies? A world where young girls are not stripped of their innocence by strangers or family members? A world where we can roam free? A world where we are free? Chairperson, in the days of our grandmothers, women were raised to serve and please men in every capacity. From an early age, they learned to cook, clean, and be homemakers. I am certain that many of you have heard an elderly woman saying to young ladies, you need to learn how to cook and clean in order to take care of and keep your husband. In their defense, this is what they were taught. That is how they kept their bills paid and a roof over their heads. But it shouldn't have been that way. With no education, a husband to provide for her was her main mode of survival. Our grandmothers accepted less than the bare minimum from the men that swore to love, cherish, and take care of them. Instead, they were despised, scorned, and abused. I mean, look at the size of our families today. Surely grandma's 5 children do not account for our 16 aunts and 12 uncles. Women deserve to feel safe in this world. We deserve the right to live. Why should we have to cry out against violence against women and stand in orange in the blazing sun to demand that justice be served for our mothers, sisters, daughters, aunts, and friends? Why do many of us fear leaving relationships because it is the only way to stay alive? Why do we fear becoming the next victim left at the side of the road or in a car? Education means nothing. Independence means nothing if we are not respected. Too many of our women are sitting in silence, afraid to speak out. More so, too many of us are seen as tokens. Chairperson, I am a flower. At 4 years or even 3 months, why am I being touched or forced to commit fellatio? Why are people so insensitive to my abuse, with my videos being shared further humiliating me? Why is the age of consent 15 years? I cannot vote. At this age, I am supposed to be carefree, not worrying about being dismembered and left at the side of the road or hanging from a tree. I should not be at family court listening to unscrupulous lawyers defending my perpetrator. No, our society needs to wake up. Why should little girls be placed in rehoming systems because their uncles, brothers, and fathers, the men whom they are supposed to look up to and trust, are molesting them in the homes where they are supposed to feel protected? Why and how much longer? Chairperson, I implore you to do one thing. Think and internalize the question. Although the law enforcement system is privy to these problems that women in St. Vincent and the Grenadines face, is there anything truly being done to aid them? Hopefully, one day, there will be an SVG where this is so. Until then, I leave you with the words of Helen Reddy. I am wise, but it's wisdom born of pain. Yes, I have paid the price, but look how much I've gained. If I have to, I can do anything. I am strong. I am invincible. I am woman. I thank you.
Thank you very much. And we have come to the end of our students' prepared speech. The time for Janelle is
4 minutes, 25 seconds.
4 minutes, 25 seconds. So, our long-awaited impromptu speech segment. Please note that each speaker shall have 1 minute to consider the topic and no more than 2 minutes to present his or her topic. The participants would pick a topic from the envelope. I'll be assisted by Lion Jr. First, we have Lisa Robertson of the Adelphi Secondary School. Remember, you have 1 minute to prepare. You need a paper?
Yes.
Lisa's topic is a typical school day. A typical school day.
Protocol having been established. Good afternoon once again. Good evening, I mean. What is a typical school day? So, a typical school day consists of what you do regularly when you get to school and when you do when you end. My typical school day consists of me going to school, feeling drained before I even step into the school compound. And as I go through my first period of class, I just sit there and I'm listening attentively, listening, and then my next period comes. And I'm getting more drained as it goes on. I have to talk to people, which I dread, I'm sorry, but I'm just being honest. And then, after that period it ends, it's break time. I finally get a break, or not. I have to finish up some work, make sure I have this in my brain. Then it's lunch, then it's the next period. I go into class, I sit down, I listen again. I have to hear this teacher talk on and on and on and on and on. As I just get drained and having to listen to these students just complaining and complaining and complaining. No end to it. And I am a deputy head girl at my school. So I have to look at these students and I have to make sure they're doing the right things. I have to make sure they're doing their duties. And I'm at Form 4. I have so much on my plate and this too. And I'm still thinking these children who don't listen. I don't understand. You come to this school to be parent by another student. Like, get yourself together. And then, as this day goes on and on and on and on and on again, I have to think about I have to do this again tomorrow. I thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Lisa spoke for
2 minutes, 2 seconds.
2 minutes, 2 seconds. 2 minutes, 2 seconds. Next, we have Kavisha Richardson of the St. Joseph Convent, Kingstown. Kavisha would now speak on teachers. Teachers.
protocol has already been established. Teachers, when you hear the word teacher, what do you think of? When I hear teachers, I think of my school parent, the person that I'm stuck with for 6 hours of my 24 hours. Teachers are there to nurture us, to help us. They help us by teaching us in the different subject languages, the different subject areas such as biology, chemistry. Our teachers are there to protect us. When you think of a teacher, you think of a person you can confide in school, whether it be in a counselor or your favorite teacher. Teachers. When you think of teachers, you think of people that you think of people that they put in authority to make sure that we have the right foundation, so that we can go out in the everyday life and execute these things that we are taught in school. I want to thank God for my teachers that are in the St. Joseph Convent, Kingston. I also want to thank my mom, who is a teacher, and I know that students cherish their teachers. And I urge that teachers continue to do their best to make sure children have this right foundation so that we can be excelling students in everything that we do. I thank you.
Thank you, Kevisha. Kevisha spoke for
1 minute, 25 seconds.
1 minute, 25 seconds. Next, we have the St. Vincent Grammar School, Christian Joseph. Christian topic is Vincy Van culture. Vincy Van culture.
Protocol having already been established, good evening again. Wivanchikech, Uptown. Villa Calaqua, Georgetown. These are some of the terms and songs we've gotten accustomed to when we think about our Vans and Vincy Van culture, commonly known as VVC. These Vans play an important role in our Vincentian culture. As us youths growing up, we love to catch the hottest van on the road, whether it be Tapper, Uptown, or Blaze. That's my van. But vans play an important role. They carry us to our destinations wherever we want to go, whether it be Villa Calaqua, Georgetown. They will always get us there safely. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Christian. Christian spoke for
1 minute.
Christian spoke for 1 minute. Next, we have Soren Phillips of the Thomas Saunders Secondary School. Soren's topic is My Hero. My Hero.
Oh, I wasn't right. All right. Okay. With protocol being established for the final time from me, good night. My hero. Well, we should start with a definition, shouldn't we? So we're all on the same page. A hero is someone that you may look up to, whether it be maybe a friend, a family member, or even a stranger that you walked past on the street yesterday. But for me, I would have to say that my hero will be my dad. And although it sounds very cliche, I have many things to thank him for, such as being a great role model. He also gave me my attributes, such as my height, my looks, and even I looked just like him when he was small, so you know how that is. No, I am fortunate for my dad to be my hero specifically, because I understand that this may not be the case for everyone. And I empathize with those persons. But I would hope that they would be able to find their own hero, someone similar that they can look up to and take positive aspects of. Another thing I can speak about is that it's good to choose the right hero, because it is easy to choose the wrong person and believe they're doing the right thing, even though everyone can see that they're doing the wrong thing. But just be wary of who you choose to be a hero and everything in between. Now, one more thing I must say before I go is that if you do not have a hero, I really believe that you should look and see the positive things you can take from people that may be around you. Whether it may be, as I said, a family member, a teacher, your parents even, and try to emphasize it and make it 10 times fold. And with all that being said, good night.
Thank you very much, Soren. Soren spoke for
2 minutes.
2 minutes. 2 minutes. Next we have from the Mountain View Adventist Academy, Rihanna Ross. Rihanna would now speak on war. War.
Protocol has already been established. Good night. war. War is a violent conflict between countries and nations. For example, war is in Palestine and Israel right now. Personally, I think that war shouldn't be a thing. We should have peace with each other. Countries should be able to have peace. And with war, there are lots of lives lost. People lose their loved ones. People lose their lives. So we can also have war within our minds. We can have a war between right or wrong. And these things are what affect our lives. In conclusion, there should be peace, and instead of having people losing their lives, find a different way if you want to take over something. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Rihanna. Rihanna spoke for
48 seconds.
48 seconds. 48 seconds. We now have Janelle Stowe of the St. Vincent Girls High School. Janelle will now speak on elections. Elections.
Protocol has already been established. Labor love, labor love. Election is a time where the country is split in two. When I go on YouTube during the elections, ads like joke. We hear people saying labor love, vote NDP. I remember the last election, the Green Party had what? 1 or 2 votes? I remember in a social studies class when I was in Form 4, we had a mock election. We had to dip our thumbs in ink and have a whole voting process. I lost the election, but that's fine. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mr. spoke for
48 seconds.
48 seconds. 48 seconds. We have now moved to the part of our program where we'll be given the vote of thanks whilst the judges and our auditors at video tally the scores and we await the results. So I would invite Ryan Kamitha John to do the vote of thanks.
Rumi said, wear gratitude like a cloak and it would feed every corner of your life. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Kamitha John, a proud and grateful member of the Lions Club St. Vincent South, and it is my honor to extend our vote of thanks to all persons tonight on behalf of the club. The Lions Club St. Vincent South would like to thank Pastor Brent St. John of the Seventh-day Adventist Church SVG Mission for invoking God's presence this evening for our proceedings. To our trumpeter, Corporal Powers of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force, thank you for facilitating the introduction of our participants. Panist Delano Bristol, thank you for providing harmonious support for the national anthem. Lion Janelle George, President of our club, Lions Club St. Vincent South, thank you for your presence, your remarks, and your commitment in seeing the completion of this project. Mrs. Nikayla Williams Rogers, marketing manager of our main sponsor, Flow, thank you for your representation and remarks, and by extension, our gratitude is extended to the staff of Flow St. Vincent for the significant contribution the company has made again to this competition. We look forward to our continued support. Dr. Godwin James, Senior Education Officer in the Ministry of Education and National Reconciliation, thank you for your presence and brief remarks. Furthermore, our heartfelt thanks to the Ministry of Education, without whom your support and guidance and commitment over the years, this competition would not have been possible. So we look forward to working with you in the future competitions. Her Excellency Dame Susan Duggan, Governor General of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, thank you for your distinguished presence and continued support over the years, and thank you for assisting us coming up with the handing over of our challenge trophy. Parliamentary Representative for East Kingston, Honorable Dwight Fitzgerald Bramble, thank you for your presence tonight and support throughout the competition from the preliminaries to now. Lion Cornelia Moses, our Zone Chair of Lions Club Zone 3C, thank you for attending our competition and the assistance you provided throughout the competition. Sincerest appreciation to our judges in the preliminaries, Superintendent of Police Junior Simmons, who is not here this evening, Mr. Ronnie Daniel and Ms. Trishelle Allen. We truly appreciate the time invested in support of our youths. To tonight's judges, Mr. John Balla, Mr. Ronnie Daniel, Ms. Teresa Daniel, Ms. Trishelle Allen, and Mrs. Kizzy Francis, we are confident that your task was not an easy one, but we know it will be a job well done. We cannot fail to recognize the efforts of our participants, with whom there will have not been any competition. Students, we greatly appreciate you for taking the brave step to be part of our project, which many citizens look forward to annually. And I hope that we were all able to take away a lesson from your presentations, especially your prepared topics, because you gave us a lot to think about. To our moderator, Lion Monel Marksman, and timekeeper, Lion Simona Moses, thank you for your proficient roles in ensuring that the finals proceeded smoothly. Also, we wish to thank the following persons or institutions who have contributed also to the evenings or tonight's success. Mr. Ruben John and BDO St. Vincent and the Grenadines for their support and providing auditing services at this competition. Waxmasters International for providing the song reinforcement tonight. SVG TV, WeFM, Nice Radio, VC3 and API for broadcasting the preliminaries and carrying tonight's finals live. Lions and Leo presidents and other members representing our Lions Club in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Trinidad and Tobago. To the principals and teachers who carved out time from their curriculum to ensure the participants were supported and prepared for the competition, our immense thanks to you. Thanks to the parents and guardians for helping and encouraging the students throughout the process from preliminaries to tonight. To our audience, live online viewers and listeners, the print and electronic media, we express sincere gratitude for your time-honored support of this event. We wish to acknowledge in a special way the long-standing chairman of this project, Lion Junior Bacchus, PNJF, and his team. Lion Junior, thank you so much for your unwavering leadership, energy, and commitment to ensuring that the Lions Club St. Vincent South hosts another competition. And of course, to all other persons who have contributed in one way or the other to the successful staging of the 2023 National Secondary Schools Public Speaking Competition, I say thank you. I wish everyone a safe and pleasant journey home and a happy and safe 44th anniversary of independence.
We're still awaiting the results. Having attended all of the preliminary sessions, I would like to invite the parliamentary representative for East Kingstown, Dwight Fitzgerald Bramble, to the podium to give brief remarks and an overview of our competition. Thank you very much. Please welcome me.
Well, this is a little bit of a surprise. Governor General Dame Susan Duggan, quite a distinguished lady. It was my pleasure to be here with you tonight. The Lions, I almost said JCs, the Lions and Flo for really stepping up and continuing to demonstrate your perennially well-organized and executed secondary schools public speaking competition. Incidentally, I am a former winner of this competition. This was back in 1979, the year of our independence. I represented the Beckway Anglican High School. And I remember it was up at the University of the West Indies. They called it then the extramural campus. And the topic then was 1979 International Year of the Child. And I love speaking, as you might all imagine and know. And I've been talking from since I could talk. But I remember when I concluded my prepared speech, I pronounced quite emphatically, "Children should be seen and not heard is now a thing of the past." And the whole place just went crazy. You know, let me first of all say to you, 6 future stars of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, you guys were awesome. Awesome. And that is not an opportunistic platitude. That is sincere. You were really, truly awesome. I hope that some of you would become our parliamentary colleagues very soon. In fact, I think if some of our parliamentarians were here, we could have learned a thing or two from you, believe you me. Something that I discovered or that I observed, and it's not a criticism, but something that I would like for us to think about. There is quite a distinction between the prepared speeches and the impromptu. This is nothing new, so don't feel bad. This is something, even in my time, we always seem to struggle with the impromptu aspect of our presentations. I don't know what could be done. Maybe I can offer some friendly advice to maybe the teachers in particular to maybe try to cut back a little bit on the support and the assistance that you give with the prepared speech, and try to create. I remember when I was teaching at grammar school, and I was teaching economics and general paper at the time. That we didn't have the community college then, and we had general paper. They were doing A-level general paper. And I always took the opportunity to try to encourage my students to communicate. I remember, I see Trisha back there looking at me, and Trisha would remember some of this too. Mrs. Allen Jack from Thomas Sanders, she's a former student of mine. I don't mean to put you on the spot, Trisha. But I remember on one occasion, I took my class out on the lawn, and I had an exercise where I put them to sit, I paired off the students and put them to sit back to back and converse with each other. And up to today, some of my students would meet me and thank me for that exercise. So speaking is something that it's a natural function, yeah? But if you're able to speak effectively, you can influence lives and influence nations. I had the opportunity to do that throughout my entire life, from a kid right up to my present situation. I was a deputy ambassador for St. Vincent in the USA, so I had to speak. I had to be able to speak and represent. I was a university lecturer in Canada, so I had to be able to speak. Even when I played football for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I was the goalkeeper. So I was like the coach on the field. I had to be able to speak. And I thank God for blessing me with a little bit of ability when it comes to speaking in public. And I would like to encourage all of you to continue to develop your craft as speakers. Believe you me, it will go a very long way in helping you to emerge and to develop into your full potential as future leaders. Once again, I want to congratulate the organizers and the sponsors and the audience as well. We have been very, very good. I wish and hope that the audience will be bigger as we go, as you know, future competitions are held. This should be held in Victoria Park, you know, and encourage people to come out. It's very, very important. We all know that public speaking is very, very important. And as the moderator said in the beginning, our biggest fear is being able to speak. So this I think can help us to encourage other people as well. Thank you, and I want to take this opportunity to wish everybody a happy 44th Independence. Thanks again.
Thank you, Mr. Bramble. And the results are in. So I would invite the chairperson of our public speaking competition to bring you the results. Lion Jr.
Well, as I call the results, we will invite our sponsor, Flo, to assist with the presentation of the prizes and trophies. And then the challenge trophy will be presented by Her Excellency, the Governor General. And after that, we will celebrate. Okay? And I am trying to see if we could get this done by 10:30. That was the plan. And we're reaching it. So, without any further ado, I will start with the winners of each category. Someone should assist. Michael is there. Someone assist with the identification of the trophies for me, please. And Michael. So you will hand to Nicalia. So the winner of the impromptu speech is Soren Phillips from So from the Thomas Saunders Secondary School, the winner of this year's impromptu, Soren Phillips. Next, we have the winner of the student-prepared speech from the St. Vincent Grammar School, Christian Joseph. And the winner of the main speech, Christian Joseph, St. Vincent Grammar School. Okay, at this stage, we will be presenting to the 3 finalists, those who are not first, second, or third. Okay? So the 3 finalists, they will receive a trophy. Yes, I think a trophy as well as a a gift bag from Flo, which certainly have a smartphone. Okay. So let me invite you to congratulate the 3 finalists at this stage. And I will start with the Adelphi Secondary School, Lisa Robertson. Yeah, everybody gets a phone, yes. The others get a top of the line. Another finalist from the St. Joseph's Convent, Kingston, we have Kevisha Richardson, sorry. And the 3rd finalist to receive the award from the Thomas Saunders Secondary School, Soren Phillips. And let me say, you can lose all the categories and still come out on top, you know, because the tally. So don't worry, this is the result. And coming for the National Secondary School Lions Club South Flow-sponsored Secondary School Public Speaking Competition in 3rd position in the 2023 edition is Rihanna Ross from the Mountain View Adventist Academy. And remember, in addition to her prizes, she will also receive a scholarship for 2 years in the amount of $500 each. And the top 3 get special cell phones with some additional data, limited data. I know when I call 2nd place, everybody going to applaud the 1st place. Okay? I know that's what you're going to do. So, from the Girls High School, coming 2nd, Jonelle Stowe. Jonelle Stowe. And from one boys' school last year, St. Martin's took the top prize, the top position, and this year, let me invite you to put your hands together and congratulate Mr. Christian Joseph from the St. Vincent Grammar School for being the champion for the year 2023. Very deserving. All right, Christian, just rest them there and then we will have, and let me indicate to you that the The school that won this year's competition will also be receiving the challenge trophy, which you return in good condition. And you will also have the opportunity to present a proposal for funding of a school project in the amount of $3,000 during this year. Before the next public speaking, you should present a proposal to get funding for a school project as one of the gifts that you will receive. So I'd like now to invite to the podium our distinguished Her Excellency, our Governor General. She will now be presenting the challenge trophy. So Christian, please go down to the platform and assist. It's a bit heavy. Thank you, Your Excellency Dame Susan Duggan, for being here again and doing the honors. Christian, yes, you could rest it a little bit. I will just like, in closing, to thank you, Monel. I don't know if the thank you good enough, but it is not easy to take on this responsibility, but you did, to host this year's competition. Our President hard work. Thank you, Madam President, for your good leadership. I must say I got excellent support from my President in the planning of this year's competition. I appreciate you. And the flow, as usual, you don't have to worry. You just have to remind them, we on. And Nicalia has really been with us as a partner for years now. Thank you very much. And we will just like to invite the media to assist with some photographs. We would like to have the Governor General in one of these photographs. This is for posterity purposes. And Christian and all our students. We like all the students come forward now. We have the President, Janil, our Governor General, and Nicalia first. Our leading, and our Dr. James, right? We lead the 4 officials who partner with us along with the students. Students, you can go forward a bit, yeah. Maybe down on the platform, yeah, go down. Yeah. Yes, Dr. James, please join the team of distinguished persons. I know the schools may want to take photographs with their students, so you have here right now to come and put your photographs.